Hello, today we're going to be talking about workflow and the specific features around workflow. Let's start with the workflow setup itself to start with. To toggle between TechView and workflow, you can use this toggle at the top of the Today's Vehicle page. The workflow configuration is going to work the same as TechView. We're going to select the columns we want displayed. We're going to select the number of columns via our settings pop-up that we used earlier. And we're going to have this workflow represent each stage that a vehicle may or must hit during a visit to your shop. The advisors can use this workflow view to organize all the vehicles at the shop and keep track of which stage they are at, so nothing gets lost or left behind. Displayed here is the recommended default workflow configuration. Let's go through each step, knowing that we can add and remove steps as needed. Again, this workflow should match your shop setup. First, we have waiting for drop-off. You can either use waiting for drop-off, which is a manual step that you can drag tiles to for vehicles that are not yet at the shop, or you can use today's appointments, which is an automated workflow step that will show any scheduled appointments for today. Next, we have waiting for inspect, are vehicles that have arrived and are waiting for the technician to perform the initial inspection. Creating estimate, we're doing just that, pricing out the estimate and options for the customer after the inspection has been performed. Waiting for approval is waiting on customer action or communication back to us. Parts ordered on hold or waiting for parts is a bit of a catch-all. We can leave vehicles here that are waiting for longer-term parts or any other reason which may require them to be on hold. After we've sold additional work, we can use waiting for work finished to complete any and final authorized labor lines. Once all authorized labor lines are marked complete, we have waiting for pickup, where we're simply waiting for payment and the vehicle to be picked up. You can either start with the recommended workflow setup to start with, or there are a variety of other steps you can add. Once configured, again, remember to use your system settings pop-up to change the number of columns required and also save your workflow configuration. Just like in TechView, we can simply grab a tile and drag and drop it to the next workflow step as the vehicle passes through each stage in our shop. You can use the workflow to track bottlenecks in the shop. For example, if traditionally estimating takes a long time, you can keep an eye on the creating estimate column. If there are multiple vehicles in the creating estimate column, we can use this as an identification that there is indeed a bottleneck. This would be a great example of a time to use a smart marker to indicate the time in which an estimate needs to be completed. We'll expand on smart markers in a later video. Let's talk about adding new workflow steps, in case there are stages within your shop that you need added to your workflow. First, we'll go to our Today's Vehicle page menu, and we'll go to System Settings. Once in System Settings, we can navigate to Workflow, Workflow Steps, and then the Workflow Steps tab to see a list of all your current workflow steps. New steps can be added with this icon, and existing steps can be edited with the pencil icon. Each step has 5 components. First, it has the name. Next, it has whether it's displayed on the tablet or not. Leave this box checked for any steps that have vehicles that are currently within the shop. Next, we have exclude hours. This is a technician efficiency tracking tool. Leave this box unchecked for any steps where the vehicle is actively being worked on. Next, we have the 2 job approval options. To keep things simple, I recommend you check both boxes or neither box. When these boxes are selected, if a new labor line is added to the repair order in your point of sale, it will automatically approve that labor line in AutoVitals. For example, on estimating, we have these boxes unchecked. That way, as we're adding new labor lines to price out onto the work order, they won't appear on the work order in AutoVitals and send alerts to the tech that they have new labor lines approved. Again, as a default recommendation, this is how I recommend you have your workflow steps set up. But edit as you see needed or contact your advisor to discuss. Once a new workflow step is added, you can use your settings pop-up to increase the column number. You can then reorganize the columns to add in your new step in the correct spot. Then go back to your settings pop-up to save that configuration with the new workflow step added. Once you and your team have mastered the workflow, we'll talk about how to automate messages to customers when a tile is moved to a certain workflow step. For example, when I move a tile to waiting for pickup, I can trigger a message to that customer to let them know their vehicle is done. We'll cover that in a later video. First, Let's make sure our workflow is optimized and used on every vehicle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.